Hi, I'm Evin.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hi, I'm Evin.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Welcome to
Under One Roof,
where every home has a story to tell. So today we're going to talk about this topic is why you decided to go for a private property.
Okay, so for me, I've always dreamt of staying in a landed property, mainly because I grew up, my family home is in the terrace. So being able to, grow up in that space, running around with my family, having a lot of family time is something that I really enjoy, and it's something that I envision in years later when I set up my family, to have that same amount of space as well.
For myself, no, I didn't envision myself to stay in a private property. My backstory is very different from my wife Charlotte because I grew up with my mom, so we grew up in HDB. So from young, I was brought in a very conservative way of family. So our natural progression is usually the BTO, HDB, and how I decided why at the end of the day I managed to land myself private property is because through my career, through my job scope, I get to know different insights, more insights about how property can really elevate one person's wealth, and that is the sole reason why I decided to go into private property. For me, it's very data and numbers because day in day out I'm always crunching these numbers with my clients. So for me, at the point of time when we decided to sell each individual private properties and move into a lender was really a numbers game because I saw the numbers, it made total financial sense, and I decided to enter the market to capture this opportunity.
Okay, so beforehand, before we got married, we actually had our own condo. So it was a small one, around 800 to 900 square feet, which was really sufficient. But at one point in time, when we decided to move forward in life, we knew we needed more space to build a family. So that's when we started house hunting. And that vision of ideally, if it's a bigger home where we can have space for the kids to run around, that would be really, really sweet.
And at the point of time, I tried to convince her to move into one of our own places so that we can rent out one property, then stay in our property. But I think it didn't sit well with her because she had complained that my house doesn't have enough storeroom. So back then, my private property was a 3-bedder, so 3-bedder compact. Hers was a 2-bed plus study.
But with a huge storeroom.
Yeah, so it's like we are neither here or there, but my location was, I would say, fantastic. Like it's walking distance to MRT, reach within 5 minutes reach to your Punggol nasi lemak, all the very famous eateries. Yeah, so I tried to convince her to come over, but she say not enough storeroom, and for us and for her in particular, she always envisioned a very cozy, big size family. So I think my house, if you were to move into my place, it will outgrow the person.
Yeah.
So
I mean, both of our house doesn't really support in terms of moving forward because of the size, multiple reasons. So that is the moment that we knew we needed to upgrade.
yeah, that was the biggest push factors aside from all the numbers. Yeah, so that was the emotional
Aspect
of it, and comes to numbers, which is my game.
I would say the interesting part was we were actually house hunting for a single floor plate.
Yeah, correct.
That was the main thing.
The floor driver.
Yeah, we went to so many, and we were actually quite open in terms of district because this time we were thinking, okay, both of us previously, right, we were staying in
District 19.
Yeah, we were both in P19. So this time we were thinking, okay, family home, we are open to exploring other district, but it has to be a single floor plate.
Yeah.
It's just our mindset lah, I would say.
Yeah.
So as we start hunting, I would say God actually gave us this house actually,
Right.
because we didn't specifically hunt for a landed
Yes, that was not in our plan
at all.
at all. Correct.
Yeah.
So we just casually take a look only. So we saw this house, but we just shelved it for almost a few months, right? For a few months, then we thought that, then we went to do a house hunting. Then we realized that the options to us doesn't seem the best
Correct.
option. Then we just come back and say, hey, the unit's still available.
It was a little bit like a light bulb moment because The reason why it was being shelved for a period, right, was because it happened during our travels.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and lender is also something that both of us have not, prior to it, we did not really discuss. We have not dived that deep.
Yeah.
We're just planning, this is a matrimony home. So it's only after this particular private property that came out, right, this lender home came out, and we're thinking, okay, why not take a quick look? Yeah, so we had that time to really think about it even during our travels, and we come back, it was still available. It almost felt like, I think it's meant for us. So that's when we dive deeper in terms of like, are there schools around this house, and the number game, that's where you really come in and play.
Yeah, alright. Sacrifice anything?
I think first thing that pops up in my head, travel.
Travel.
Because in terms of the numbers, if you think about it, any house that is a little bit bigger or at a more premium location, naturally your down payment, your mortgage would be on a higher side. How much higher is a whole different conversation. But because of the higher quantum, right, naturally it means that we probably have to sacrifice in terms of our travel and other aspect of lifestyle in the beginning. That was the first thing that came into my mind at that point of time.
Yeah, correct. I mean, there was certain adjustment to be made because it's a new level, a new chapter to begin. Then slowly we find our footing, right? And life has been normal. About 2.5 years left.
2.5? Oh, time flies.
Oh my God! Wow!
Pros and cons are okay. The cons part is okay. So both of us, me and Charlotte, I wouldn't say we are OCD, but we are very neat person. So we clean our own place back then. We can really manage it because 800 to 900 square feet of space, practically you can really keep it very tidy. But now when you have close to about 4,000 square feet of space, you really cannot scrutinize to every minute corner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, even you have helper, right? There's also certain places where you should spot ants, spot a little bit of machi fur flying around.
Oh, yeah, that's our pet dog.
Yeah.
So basically back then our place is very much like a showroom condition, I would say.
Yeah.
So things are very clean, very neat. Right now, like you mentioned, space, right? There's so much more things going around at every level. So keeping it to showroom condition definitely doesn't seem to be so easy anymore, especially with 3 kids inside the house.
Right. But thankfully, I feel that we made the right choice because if we were to go for anything that is more compact, and because we didn't expect like Matthew and Nicholas, which is our 2 boys. If with this addition and if we go for slightly more compact unit, I think the space would be a little bit challenging. So it was, we don't have all this in plan. It was, I would say, God's planning and God's timing that we landed in this property. Then Matthew came about. Matthew loves to run around. The space seems to be very suitable for him. And next time Nicholas grew up, I think he also needs a space. So all things kind of like fall into place lah.
Yes. In terms of upgrading to a bigger space, it will be something. Okay, so in terms of buying a home, I would always say have vision, think further, not so much on short term. So in terms of life, you really never know how it's gonna unfold itself. So 2 aspects. One is as your family grow, it's nice to have that space. However, even if without kids, you can think about hosting, right? You bring most of the family together. So that's why space is very important. So this is always like my #1 drive when it comes to buying home.
Right. Yeah. For her, it's more the family aspect lah.
Yeah.
For me, same thing, very numbers. So I always look at opportunity cost and leverage. When you are at a certain age, how can we best maximize this leverage to reach the most higher ROI of opportunity? But that being said, it has to make total financial sense lah. As in, when you buy a certain size of house, okay, no matter what kind, it should not put you under so much stress that you have to change your lifestyle because to attain this kind of house. So I think that has to be run through thoroughly, and that's what I'm good at. So we kind of both find our same page, same frequency, and then I don't think we have regret. We just very happy with whatever we are.
Yeah, we definitely look at the decision with a all-rounder
Yeah.
perspective before we pull the trigger.
Correct, correct. So, how about you guys watching? Is private property something that you see yourself or envision for yourself? Or are you all very comfortable in wherever you are at right now? Right, so drop your comments and we will be very happy to look into it.
Remember to like, share and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye!